Of course. Another day. On June 28th.
When is opening? Okay. You thought it was okay with this. The investigation. Okay. All right.
Catching and moving.
Good morning. How are you?
I am well. I see you already got yours.
Yes.
Okay.
Want a paper copy of the packet?
Yes, please.
No, I don't.
Thank you.
Hi, you.
Yeah.
Hey, darling.
Hey, we're about ready to start our
Four.
Well, later.
Yes.
Hey, baby, that's how you do it.
Hey, good morning. How are you? I'm good.
Hi, Trace. You good? Oh, yeah. How you doing? How'd it go?
Thank you. Good morning. It's 9:08 on April 29, 2026. I will now call to order this meeting of the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners. Mr. Gavil, please call the roll.
Commissioner Ortega,
Here.
Mayor Spencer,
Here.
Commissioner Jenkins Gray,
Here.
Commissioner McVeigh,
Here.
Commissioner Brown,
Here.
President Saraceno.
Present. Thank you. Okay, if you're able to, please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, our first item on the agenda is the approval of our meeting minutes from April 1st, 2026. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 1st meeting?
I'll make that motion.
And to approve the minutes from April 1st meeting.
I'll second.
Commissioner Sonia Gray has made a motion, second by Commissioner Ortega. Is there further discussion regarding the minutes? No discussion regarding the minutes.
Mr. President, if I may,
Yes.
we haven't really had the opportunity to review them. They came in extremely late yesterday, so given the longness of them, I just want to point out it'd be helpful to have them with a little more advance.
Thank you. Seeing that further discussion, nothing else, we're going to move to voice vote for motion to approve.
And-
Oh, go ahead. With the
I'd
amendment.
prefer a roll call vote on that, please.
Roll call vote. Can you go to a roll call vote? Mr. Gavil, could you please do a roll call vote?
No problem. Mayor Spencer,
Present.
Commissioner Jenkins Gray,
Aye.
Commissioner McVeigh,
Aye.
Commissioner Saraceno,
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion does carry. Next item on our agenda is the committee reports, Labor and Management. Commissioner Brown, would you please provide the Labor and Management Committee
Yes.
report?
Yes, President Tercino. The Labor Committee has not met since the last Board of Police Commissioners meeting on April 1st, where the board voted to approve the committee's recommended rule regarding civilian employee disciplinary procedures. Our next regular meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, May 2nd, 2026 at 10 a.m.
Is that May 12th or May 2nd?
I'm sorry, May 12th.
Thank you. That's okay. Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Anything else on that? Any questions for the Commissioner? Seeing none, we'll move on to our next item agenda is litigation. Commissioner Ortega, would you please provide the litigation
Sure.
committee report?
There are currently 70 active civil cases that several of them are on the cusp of resolution, either through settlement or dispositive motion to dismiss. The Attorney General's office continues to work diligently to resolve these cases in a quickly and a favorable and a positive, as quickly and favorable as positive. And as the board continues to meet weekly with the AG's office with their assistants. Now we have the hearing officer update. You want to do that too? Please. Well, Litigation Committee met on April 22nd to review the response from the board's receiving its RFQ for hearing officers. The board is looking to hire 5 hearing officers to oversee disciplinary hearings for commissioned officers. The openings of the positions were advertised in various legal and professional publications, an intent to attract a wide range of talent and experience. We received the response from 8 qualified, very well qualified applicants, and the litigation committee met to review all the applicants' materials and discuss the applications, backgrounds, and qualifications. After the review of impartial scoring procedure, the committee has determined the 5 applicants most qualified for the positions. You have copies of in your packet of the individual score sheets, along with the summaries of the scores. On behalf of the litigation committee, I move the board to enter into contract negotiation with the following applicants for hearing officers: Keith Chung, Mark Sowers, Brian Malone, Christy Flint, and Adam Notch. Litigation committee does not have another meeting scheduled for the next couple weeks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do we have any questions for Commissioner Ortega?
I have just one.
Yes, Mayor.
I just would request for a description of the duties of the hearing officers so we can have an understanding of what the scope of their duties would be.
Yeah, I think they would listen to the complaints when they come through, so, and then they would give us recommendations as far as disciplinary.
I think it'd just be helpful to have it in written form, the scope of their
Okay.
duties, that's all. Thank you.
I think it is in written form in Rule 7 in the appendix regarding it, but I think we can extract that out for purposes of, it's pretty detailed in what you all adopted with regards to Rule 7 and the rules and the roles and everything, and it's pretty specific, so we can pull that out and circulate it.
Let's make sure that that does get done. Let's have a directive of exactly what that hearing officer's responsibilities and requirements will be. So there is very clear and accountability for that. Transparent and accountability is very important to us as a board, and we work very hard to make sure we maintain that reputation. So let's make sure that that happens, and based on the mayor's request as well. And it's a very good request, Mayor. Thank you for pointing that out. Appreciate that. Okay. Anything else on litigation questions?
No, not at this time.
No. Does any other fellow commissioners have any questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's move to the next item, which is Budget, Finance, and Audit. Commissioner McVeigh, would you please provide the Budget, Finance, and Audit Committee report? Excuse me.
Thank you, President Saraceno. The Budget Finance Audit Committee met on April 21st at 2 p.m. The committee considered 6 items, 5 of which we are bringing to the board today for consideration. The first item I have for the board is a recommendation that the board entered into an agreement with Axon to acquire 1,000 tasers. The chief's office has been in discussion with Axon about replacing the department's tasers, which are in need of replacement. The chief can speak to the department's need for these tasers if necessary, or during his report if he would prefer. The yearly cost of the tasers is approximately $1.3 million a year. Mr. Sullivan has confirmed that the department still has funding available that could be used to pay for these tasers this year. The committee unanimously voted to recommend the board to enter into an agreement with Axon to acquire these 1,000 tasers. I move forward to authorize the chief to enter into an agreement with Axon for the acquisition of the 1,000 tasers. The second item I have for the board is a recommendation that the board approve renovations to the bathroom facilities at the crime labs at a cost of $106,744. The crime lab bathrooms are in disrepair and require significant work. The Budget and Finance has worked with the city's Board of Public Service to obtain a contract for the bathroom renovations through Cosney Wagner Incorporated. Budget and Finance has also been able to locate funds for this project. The committee unanimously voted to recommend the board to approve the quote for the bathroom renovations at the crime lab. I move to authorize the chief to enter into an agreement with Cosney Wagner Incorporated to provide the bathroom renovations.
Commissioner, that was $106,000.
Yes, sir, but
Thank
that, also that is for all those bathrooms, not for a bathroom.
Thank you, Commissioner.
The third item I have for the board is a recommendation that the board approve repairs to the 6th floor bathroom and mechanical room at a cost of $69,475. The 6th floor bathroom and mechanical room both have issues with leaks. The 6th floor bathroom has experienced multiple floodings. Budget and Finance has worked with the city's Board of Public Service to obtain a contract for the repairs from Missouri Terrazzo. Budget and Finance has also been able to locate funds to replace the fence. The committee unanimously voted to recommend the board approve the quote for the fence repairs at the stables. I move to authorize the chief to enter into an agreement with Missouri Terrazzo to perform the necessary repairs at headquarters.
Commissioner,
It's
let me
two
make
things-
a.
two different things here, right?
Yeah, well, let me make
Oh.
a hold there for a second. Let's focus on the floor bathroom because the
get the fence
stable
in the bathroom.
Oh,
has
okay,
been, and fencing has been tabled until next meeting. Go ahead.
We have two motions on the table, the Axon bathroom renovations, I assume we're gonna go through.
We'll go through 'em.
And then we'll go and think about that.
Yeah,
Great.
please. Thank
So
you.
there is, the.
We'll go back through 'em. We're just
his-
gonna-
His request will be to table the fence replacement at the stables.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
The fourth item I have for the board is a recommendation that the board approve replacement for the flooring at the academy at the cost of $475,600. The flooring at the academy is completely water damaged and warped. Budget and Finance has worked with the city's Board of Public Service to obtain a contract for the floor replacement at the academy from Bolte Company. Budget and Finance has also been able to locate funds to replace the flooring. The committee unanimously voted to recommend the board approve the quote for the floor replacement at the academy. I move to authorize the chief to enter into an agreement with Bolte Company to replace the floor at the academy. The fifth item we have discussed was replacement of the fences at the stables. Obviously, at this time, we've agreed to floor that. Is that correct? Table that, excuse me. Attorney Gravel?
Which one are we on, sorry?
The fifth one
Fence
on the
replacement.
fence at the stables.
Fence at the stables, correct, yes.
And then lastly, the sixth item we discussed was a replacement of the roof at the academy. Budget and Finance is obtaining follow-up information on this item, and it will come to the board at our next meeting. Our committee meeting, scheduled committee meeting for the monthly is Friday, May 29th. And President, that will conclude my report.
Thank you. We'll go back to our first.
Axon.
Axon.
We have a motion on it, but we do not have a second on that yet.
We have a motion on that. Axon.
So we're handling these separately?
We can handle them together.
Handle them
Nobody
together.
has any
There's just
objections,
not, yeah.
I have a question about the Axon.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Chair of the committee here, you mentioned that there is funding available for this. Does that include funding that we're going to be considering in the transfers request? Because I notice here, I know it's later in the agenda, but we have $1.3 million requested for transfers for tasers in
Correct.
this. So does that include these transfers? Because this is an important point, because
Yeah.
a good number, and we'll get into this later in the agenda when this comes up, but unfortunately, these transfers are not, many of them are not legal. They do not follow, they're not permitted under the city's charter. They are purporting or proposing to transfer funds from a prior year's encumbrances. And that's just simply not legal to do. We can't, there's no mechanism to do that. You can't take funds that were encumbered from a prior year and reappropriate them. And so a good number of the funds that are proposed to be transferred for tasers simply can't be done through our city's charter.
Can Jen,
With regards to legal, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Mayor, frankly, you filed a lawsuit against the board, so I disagree with you on that.
No, it's not about the board, Mr.
Well, it is. It
Attorney.
is.
No, it's not. It's about the
the-
city charter and the process. You can't move
I
encumbered
disagree,
funds.
I disagree with your and the city councilor's legal opinion.
Okay, well, this is going to have to go through the Board of E&A, with all due respect. And my question remains, and is just germane to this item on the agenda, and that is whether or not the statement regarding the funds available includes funds
Yes.
from this.
Yes.
Then this is a dangerous move because the funds are not there.
Okay, I will obviously work that out in the litigation.
Okay, but the statement that the funds are available is just not the case. We haven't even approved this agenda item, for one thing. They haven't gone through the Board of E&A. And if we enter into a contract for which there isn't funds, that's a problem.
So we get an allocation at the beginning of the year. This money, we've done a reconciliation as close as we can. Staff,
Mr.
thank you
Graville,
so
is
much.
Mr. Daniels here to talk about this? Because he is well aware of the processes and procedures that the city has to follow by city charter. It's not about a lawsuit, it's not about my opinion, it's about our city charter.
Okay. He's out of medical leave.
Yeah, in absence of
And has been put together. I disagree. I understand your position. I've understood your position for a long time.
No, but this is a different matter, Mr. Gravel.
It's not a
You don't
different
understand my
matter.
position on this matter. This matter's never come up before.
It has come up.
No, this specific matter of transferring funds from prior year encumbrances has never come up before, Mr. Gravel, with all due respect.
All due respect, the city can't encumber our allocation to this independent government.
Mr. Gravel, these funds were encumbered in fiscal year 2025 and prior years, before this board existed, and they were encumbered for very specific purposes.
This board has the statutory authorization, once the allocation is made, to make decisions and apply money where needs are. For example, they're
Mr.
moving money out of some of these funds for the sound wall, because that's a concern within the community and something the department wants to do. So they're doing this because we need body cams. We've done our independent reconciliation. We have this much money left in our allocation. The board, we've presented to the board through the hard work of staff, moving that money to, number one, immediately address some needs such as bathrooms and acts on the tasers. And number two, to try to utilize those funds to take some of the burden off next year's budget. So whether or not the encumbrances or whatnot are applicable, that will be something I think ultimately the court will decide. But the board
Mr.
has to
Gravel,
move
with all due-
forward on their
Okay.
agenda and their rules and their statutory requirements, which is what I've recommended that they do.
Okay, but Mr. Gravel, with all due respect, regardless of the purposes for which you're purporting to move funds, they still have to go through a legal process, and they still have to be done legally. And my point is just that if what this board is proposing to do here is to enter into a contract for which there aren't funds available, it's a dangerous action for the board to take. And I just want to point that out, Mr. Gravel, so we can leave that on the
Yeah.
table. My recommendation is to ensure that the funds are available before authorizing entering into a contract as a matter of good governance.
Right. There's no, as you know, we generate out of Chapter 84 state statute. There's no statutory authorization for the city of St. Louis or ENA to encumber part of the board's allocation. They have the independent ability to make decisions and apply that money the way they want. I think we have to agree to disagree because we have a long agenda.
I understand that, but the point remains, and the fact remains, that the funds don't currently exist. Whether this is a legal move or not, they haven't been moved yet. So it's just not a, it's just, my point remains,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Gravel.
Thank you. We're gonna cut that. Everybody's made their point, so we're gonna bring that, and I think Mr. Sullivan will have opportunity to speak on behalf of these contracts as well, right? Do we want to go back through and do this independently of each item? Is that recommended?
You can do it
We
either
can do them
way.
all.
There's a motion.
My request is to do them independently. Thank you.
That's what I originally intended. So
Okay,
the first
well,
one we
let's
have
do
is
that.
The Axon contract.
Independently.
Commissioner McVeigh made a motion. We need a second.
The motion by Commissioner Vey. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Ortega. I think we've had some discussion. Do we have any further discussion? It's noted, those points by Mayor Spencer. If there's no further discussion, let's move for that as a vote, please.
Commissioner Saraceno?
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega?
Aye.
Mayor Spencer?
No?
Commissioner Jenkins Gray?
Provided funds are available.
Commissioner McVeigh? Aye. Next one is the, was
Bathroom renovations,
for the crime lab.
crime lab.
We have a motion.
We
need
have a motion
second.
by Commissioner McVeigh. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Ortega. Any discussions regarding the bathroom renovations? Seeing no,
My only question is, do these include funds that are included in what is proposed later in the agenda? Thank you.
did you get your answer?
I did
Yeah.
from some, yes.
Yeah, no, that's Mr. Sullivan. Thank you. Okay, so we have a motion, a second. We have had discussion. Is there any further discussion? Okay, Mr. Gravel, please call the roll.
Commissioner Ortega?
Aye.
Mayor Spencer?
Aye.
Commissioner Jenkins Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner McVeigh?
Aye.
President Saraceno?
Aye.
Next we have is the sixth floor bathroom renovations.
Yes, we have a motion again by Commissioner McVeigh,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Brown. Move to the second. Any discussions regarding the sixth floor bathroom repairs?
I have the same question. Mr. Gravel, could you answer if any funds for these repairs are included in the transfers?
There is none.
Thank you.
Okay.
Roll call vote.
Any
Mayor
other-
Spencer?
Aye.
Sorry. President.
I was just going to ask if there's any further discussion.
Commissioner Jenkins Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner McVeigh?
Aye.
President Saraceno?
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay.
Next one we have would be a motion to postpone to the next meeting the stable fences.
It's motion by Commissioner McVeigh, correct? Second by?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Ortega. Do we need a roll call vote for that? or-
I think you could just do all those in
All
favor.
all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. I don't, okay, and that motion will carry. Let's move to the Academy floor replacement. That motion is on the floor by Commissioner McVeigh. We need a second to move that.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Ortega. Any discussion regarding the Academy floor replacement?
I have the same question.
Same question. Not included. Thank you. All right. Any other questions? Seeing none, let's call for a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Jenkins Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner McVeigh?
Aye.
President Saraceno?
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega?
Aye.
Mayor Spencer?
Aye.
Okay. And thank you very much for those reports, Commissioner McVeigh. We've moved through all those, right? Correct? You don't have any other items? Okay. Our next item on the agenda is new business, and our first item of new business is a resolution to approve certain contracts. The board has 8 grants, contracts, agreements, and MOUs under consideration today. Mr. Sullivan is here to present those items and advise the board regarding the items and whether there is a fiscal impact. Mr. Sullivan, excuse me.
The first one is a DOJ grant with the FBI. It provides overtime for 5 detectives working violent crime, Safe Streets Task Force. No effect on the general fund budget. Second is Missouri Department of Public Safety grant. Provides Project Safe Neighborhoods grant. Provides funding for shot spotter expansion and investigative needs for the gang unit. No impact on the general fund. Third is maintenance agreement with IDEMIA. It's for the booking system. It was requested in the budget and approved in the budget for fiscal '26. The next is a targeting system for the range for $185,995. It was requested in the budget in fiscal '26 and approved.
What was that amount again?
$185,995. The next is another IDEMIA agreement. It's a maintenance and support for the lab's expert workstation. It was requested in the budget and approved for fiscal '26. The next is a private security agreement with St. Louis County. It's a shared resources agreement. We both provide personnel to licensed security guards. No impact on the budget at all. The next one is the Violent Crimes Safe Streets Task Force MOU. Just outlines the responsibilities of the FBI and our detectives working the grant. No impact on the budget. And the last is an outside counsel agreement. This was not in our budget request for fiscal '26. It's a new addition to it for outside counsel. That's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Sullivan?
What is this contract for?
I can explain a little bit about it. So, as you guys know, upon the approval of Rule 7 for both commissions and civilians, we, as we had planned out, proceed to the next step, which was, the goal was by May 1st, we were docketing discipline hearings. We're going to, and Ms. Peterson, who's here in the audience, was someone, we had to find someone to represent the chief's office in the appeals and IAD. That person has to be somebody independent, just like IAD is independent. We spent a great deal of time screening it, and then IAD meeting with Ms. Peterson to make sure that there was a comfort level because of the level of trust that's necessary in that role. One of the things this body has emphasized is fair and effective discipline that moves quickly. When we start docketing, we will start with what has occurred since this board established the SLMPD through its policies and procedures. And we will start with those disciplinary hearings and then work our way back to the backlog. There's been some reporting on that. That's still somewhat of an unknown number. We do know that there are hearings that were pending in front of the Civil Service Commission where essentially they kind of shut down and weren't hearing the cases. So there's, I kind of refer to it as, we get into the garage and you open a box and you realize there's some more there. But Susie's working with IAD currently and working to get these things ready to go and be presented. As you also know, we have the hearing officers on for approval. We did an RFQ on that. We advertised it, put it on as many websites here locally and around as we could. We got an applicant that came from the Ozarks, which I thought was interesting. You know, because we got it around so much. So this is a key component in our disciplinary system. This is how we're going to establish and start doing the hearings. As I've said to everybody, said to the association and the lawyers involved, you know, this is going to be somewhat organic. If what we're doing is not working, we're going to bring it to the board to make sure that we deliver, hopefully by the middle of the summer, a discipline system that is working and hearing these. I promised Ms. Bostruck that it would, if they're going to do the investigation in 90 days, we have the hearings completed in 90 days. Whether or not we can complete that or not, we are hitting our point where May 1st, we're going to have everything in place to start doing it. Then when Mr. Tully gets back from vacation, we'll sit down and start doing the scheduling.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Sullivan?
I have a question. In the resolution refers to an Exhibit A. What is Exhibit A? I wasn't able to figure, we weren't able to figure out what constituted Exhibit A in the attached documents.
So I can explain what it is. So under the agreement and the resolution, or the bylaws of this body, because of some of the sensitive issues and security issues, it allows me to work with staff to engage somebody to kind of preview them for up to 60 days, and then I can bring those individuals back to get ratified by this body for hiring. So, you know, it was something I put in place in a lot of other places, and something I think that's worked well here that allows us, especially when you're talking about internal discipline, confidentiality, to kind of, sorry Susie, test drive and make sure that, you know, someone will work within these parameters and be able to honor the security and mechanisms that are necessary.
That's what Exhibit A is referring to, Mr.
It
Gravel?
should be, yes.
The resolution says, the agreements attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit A are approved. I'm just asking, what is Exhibit A to which the resolution is referring?
The contract.
Is the contract available to us?
Sure.
I guess
It
I'm
should-
just
it should-
asking, it's not labeled in the agenda, so I was just asking.
It's in the
what-
packet.
It's not labeled as Exhibit A, so what constitutes Exhibit A to what? The resolution is specifically referring to Exhibit A
I'll
as
have her
what we're
pull it out, and I'll
ratifying
give it
it,
to you
and
so
it's
you can
not
look at it.
labeled in the agenda. So it's not clear what we're actually doing with the resolution.
Understood. She's going to pull it out and I'll hand it to you so you can see it.
Okay, but it really should be labeled so that we can figure out what it is. I have to object to this resolution, given that these contracts came to us last night at 3:30 PM, and we haven't had a reasonable amount of time to review these contracts. and it isn't clear to our attorneys, my team, or even myself, what Exhibit A is, given that it's not labeled in the agenda.
No problem. So it's page 155 through 158, and unfortunately, it was the 3 pages in the packet before the resolution.
So moving forward, if we're going to approve resolutions that refer to exhibits and that are specifically to approve of exhibits, it would be really helpful. My request is to label those exhibits so it's clear what we're doing with the resolution.
Typically, we do. I know in this one we didn't, but we'll make sure we'll go back to our regular practice of doing it.
I would also ask that we have more than 12 hours to review contracts, particularly if those 12 hours are sleeping hours.
I agree.
We move forward
Yeah.
with regards to discussion? Thank you. So, anything else? Is there, we'll move to a motion to approve this resolution? Are we-
I think I have to read the resolutions.
Yes, you'll definitely have to read the
If you guys
resolution.
don't mind, can you give me let's start at the top, St. Louis Violence. Or wait, is this the resolution? One resolution, I got you.
It's one resolution
What's the
for the
resolution?
contracts.
I'll
Yeah,
read
we-
the resolution. Resolution approving certain agreements, St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners, Resolution Number 2026-18. Whereas the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners, the board, has determined it to be in the best interest of the board to adopt the following resolution, and whereas the board has reviewed certain contracts, agreements, and memorandums of understanding at its April 29, 2026 board meeting, collectively the agreements, and whereas the board has approved the agreements which have been attached here to as Exhibit A and authorized the chief of police to execute the agreements on behalf of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, and be it resolved, the agreements attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit A are approved by the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners, and be it further resolved that the chief of police shall be authorized to execute the agreements attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit A. In witness whereof, the undersigned commission has executed this resolution effective the 29th day of April 2026.
Thank you. So we have the resolution read. We make a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Ortega. Do we have a second?
I think we should clarify that Exhibit A, given that it isn't labeled as pages 155 through 158.
Whatever the contracts are that are in the packet, we can give the.
I mean, the resolution doesn't talk about the contracts. It specifically talks about Exhibit A.
Do we have a, can we move this to a second
before?
for discussion,
Yeah.
please?
Say it again.
I'd like to move it to a second and then have discussion.
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Brown. Okay, let's move for discussion. Mayor?
Well, I just think, given that Exhibit A doesn't exist in the packet, I don't know exactly what the resolution is doing. If you,
The resolution under the agenda is approving the contracts we just read, as the minutes will reflect. So that is what's been discussed by Mr. Sullivan. It's the way we've always done it. If we want to specifically call out those page numbers, you guys can move to approve it, and we can add those numbers later out of the packet. But the Exhibit A is in the packet.
The Exhibit A is in the packet, just
All the
wasn't, just,
contracts.
it was
It
just
doesn't
not,
say
it
that.
marked Exhibit A, it was in the packet. Okay, so we have the second discussion by, any further discussion? Is there any further discussion regarding approving this resolution? Seeing none, call for a vote.
President Saraceno?
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega? Aye. Mayor Spencer?
President,
Commissioner Jenkins Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner McVeigh? Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. So we'll move to the next item, is a resolution approving the Board of Estimate and Apportionment to end-of-the-year transfers. Mr. Gravel, please read that.
I will.
Yes, Mr. Sullivan, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay. Be ready, because it's long. Resolution authorizing fund transfer requests to the Board of Estimates and Apportionment, St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners, Resolution number 2026-19, whereas St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners has determined to be in the best interest of the board to adopt the following resolution, and whereas the department's 2026 fiscal year budget was prepared and approved by the City of St. Louis, Missouri before the board came into existence under House Bill 495, signed by the governor of the state of Missouri on March 26, 2025. And whereas the Budget and Finance Department has performed an end-of-the-year review and reconciliation of the 2026 budget as it relates to the board's strategic objectives. And whereas the Budget and Finance Department, in consultation with the Chief of Police, has prepared a series of Board of Estimate and Apportionment budget transfer requests for the board's consideration before the end of the 2026 fiscal year. And whereas the board has reviewed the end-of-the-year requests and believes the end-of-the-year requests are necessary for the board to achieve their strategic objectives. Whereas the board hereby certifies by signature of the board secretary and president below the end-of-the-year request. And whereas the requested transfer of funds results in no increase to the department's budgeted expenditures and instead reallocates existing funds. And whereas a copy of the end-of-the-year request is attached here to and incorporated herein by reference as Exhibit A, which we received right before the meeting, correct, Jennifer? Is that the Exhibit A? Whereas the board hereby approves and certifies the following transfers necessary to the department's operations. Number one, transfer of $250,000 from the Crime Control Strategies Intelligence Division account, Fund 1000, Cost Center $650,000, account 510-110, Program 1210, to the Fleet Capital Asset account, Fund 1000, Cost Center $650,000, account 552-500, Program 1472, to utilize salaries for unfilled positions for replacement of vehicles. Transfer of $250,000 from the Park Ranger regular employee salary account, Fund 1000, Cost Center 650002, account 510100, Program 0000, to the Fleet Capital Asset account, Fund 1000, Cost Center 650000, account 552500, Program 1472, to utilize salaries for unfilled positions for replacement of vehicles. Transfer of $100,000 from the Crime Control Strategies Intelligence Division salaries account, Fund 1000, Cost Center 650000, account 510110, Program 1210, to the Human Resources Services account, Fund 1000, Cost Center 650000, account 561500, Program 1290, to utilize salaries for unfilled positions for a comprehensive benefit classification and compensation study. Transfer of $250,000 from the Support Operations Prisoner Processing Salary account, Fund 1000, Cost Center 650000, account 510100, Program 1453, to the Fleet Capital Asset account, Fund 1000, Cost Center 650000, account 552500, Program 1472, to the Human Resources Services account, Fund 1000, Cost Center 650000, account 561500, Program 1290, to utilize salaries for unfilled positions for a comprehensive benefits classifications and compensation study. Transfer of $250,000 from the Crime Control Strategies Information Technology Service account to the Police Commissioner Health and Safety Capital Asset account to utilize unused IT services account funds for noise reduction improvements at the firing range. Transfer of $250,000 from the Crime Control Strategies Information Technology Service account to the Police Commissioner Health and Safety Capital Asset account to utilize unused IT service account funds for noise reduction improvements at the range. Transfer of $250,000 from the Crime Control Strategies Information Technology Service account to the Police Commissioner Health and Safety Capital Asset account to utilize unused IT service account funds for noise reduction improvements at the range. Transfer of $250,000 from the Crime Control Strategies Information Service account to the Police Commissioner Health and Safety Capital Asset account to utilize unused IT service account funds for noise reduction improvements at the firing range. Transfer of $250,000 from the Crime Control Strategies Information Technology Service account to the Police Commissioner Health and Safety Capital Asset account to utilize unused IT service account funds for noise reduction improvements at the firing range. Transfer of $250,000 from the Crime Control Strategies Information Technology Service account to the Police Commissioner Health and Safety Capital Asset account to utilize unused IT services account funds for noise reduction improvements at the firing range. Transfer of $250,000 from the Professional Standards Body Worn Camera Non-Capital Equipment account to utilize unused body worn camera equipment funds for tasers. Transfer of $250,000 from the Professional Standards Body Worn Camera Non-Capital Equipment account to utilize unused body worn camera equipment funds for tasers. Transfer of $250,000 from the Professional Standard Body Worn Camera Non-Capital Equipment account to utilize unused body worn camera equipment funds for tasers. Transfer of $50,000 from the Professional Standards Body Worn Camera Non-Capital Equipment account to utilize unused body worn camera equipment funds for tasers. Transfer of $250,000 from the Professional Standards Body Worn Camera Capital account to utilize unused body worn camera equipment funds for tasers. Transfers of $50,000 from the Professional Standards Body Worn Capital account to the Health and Safety Equipment account to utilize unused body worn camera equipment funds for tasers. Transfer of $200,000 from the Police Academy Health and Safety Equipment account to the Health and Safety Equipment account to utilize unused body worn camera equipment funds for tasers. Transfer of $50,000 from the Police Academy Non-Capital Equipment account to the Health and Safety Equipment account to utilize unused body worn camera equipment funds for tasers. Transfer of $45,000 from the Police Academy Health and Safety Asset account to the Human Resources Services account to utilize unused Academy Capital Asset funds for an employee benefit broker. Transfer of $28,000 from the Surety Bond Premiums and Insurance account to the Human Resources Service account to utilize unused surety bond premiums and insurance funds for an employee benefit broker. Transfer of $22,000 from the Police Academy Health and Safety Supplies account to the Human Resources Service account to utilize unused Academy Capital Asset funds for an employee benefit broker. Transfer of $21,000 from the Police Academy Education and Training Supplies account to the Human Resources Service account to utilize unused Academy Capital Assets funds for an employee benefit broker. Transfer of $20,000 from the Police Academy Capital Assets account to the Human Resources Services account to utilize unused Academy Capital Asset funds for an employee benefits broker. Transfer of $14,000 from the Police Academy Professional Services account to the Human Resources Services account to utilize unused Academy Capital Asset funds for an employee benefits broker. Transfer of $81,000 from the Surety Bond Premium and Insurance account to Legal Services account to utilize unused Surety Bond and Premium Insurance funds for legal services. Transfer of $19,200 from the Support Operations Laboratory and Identification Equipment account to the Legal Services account to utilize unused crime lab equipment for legal services. Transfer of $13,000 from the Aviation Operations Surety Bond Premiums and Insurance account to the Legal Services account to utilize unused aviation bond and insurance funds for legal services. Transfer of $14,314.02 from the SWAT Operations Health and Safety Equipment account to Legal Service account to utilize unused SWAT equipment funds for legal services. Transfer of $15,400 from the Mobile Reserve Operations Health and Safety Equipment account to Legal Service account to utilize unused Mobile Reserve equipment funds for legal services. Transfer of $14,000 from the Support Operations Computer Capital account to Legal Services account to utilize unused computer capital assets funds for legal services. Transfer of $13,474.83 from the Support Operations Communications Capital account to Legal Services account to utilize communication capital asset funds for legal services. Transfer of $18,487 from the Drug Enforcement Operations Investigative account to Legal Services account to utilize unused investigative account funds for legal services. Transfer of $13,500 from the Drug Enforcement Operations Bond and Insurance account to Legal Services account to utilize unused body camera funds for legal services. Transfer of $11,141.79 from the Police Commissioner Scholarship Program account to Legal Services account to utilize unused scholarship programs funds for legal services. Transfer of $11,787.80 from the Police Commissioner's Postal Services account to Legal Services account to utilize unused Postal Service funds for legal services. Transfer of $11,580 from the Crime Control Strategies Software Licensing account to Legal Services account to utilize unused crime control funds for legal services. Transfer of $13,530 from the Crime Control Strategies Consultant Service account to the Legal Services account to utilize unused consultant service funds for legal services. Transfer of $16,124.89 from the Police Commissioner Membership Fees account to Legal Services account to utilize unused Police Commissioner's membership funds for legal services. Transfer of $10,352 from the Park Ranger Fleet Capital account to Legal Services to utilize unused body camera, or to utilize unused body camera funds for legal services. Need to take a break.
Only 20 more.
Transfer of $145,000 from the Dispatch Center Capital Asset account to Legal Services account to utilize unused in.
You missed page 166. Oh, mine, never mind, mine's backwards.
Okay. Okay. We'll
Sorry.
just catch
My bad.
number 40.
40. Yeah,
Okay. To
apologize.
utilize unused dispatch center capital asset funds for legal services. Transfer of $75,000 from the Crime Control Information Technology account to Legal Services account to utilize unused information technology services for legal services. Transfer of $25,000 from the Crime Control Regis account to Legal Services account to utilize unused Regis funds for legal services. Transfer of $20,000 from the Crime Control Professional Services account to Legal Services account to utilize unused Crime Control Strategies Professional Services funds for legal services. Transfer of $46,000 from the Budget and Finance Education and Training Services account to Legal Services account to utilize unused Budget and Finance Training funds for legal services. Transfer of $28,000 from the Budget and Finance Facilities and Ground Services account to Legal Services account to utilize unused Budget and Finance Facilities funds for legal services. Transfer of $8,000 from the Budget and Finance Membership Fee account to Legal Services account to utilize unused Budget and Finance Training funds for legal services. Transfer of $3,000 from the Budget and Finance Contractual and Other accounts to Legal Services account to utilize unused balance Budget and Finance Contractual Service funds for legal services. Transfer of $20,000 from the Support Operations Laboratory Health and Safety account to Legal Services account to utilize unused laboratory capital funds for legal services. Transfer of $30,000 from the Support Operations Laboratory Computer Equipment account to Legal Services account to utilize unused laboratory computer equipment funds for legal services. Transfer of $40,000 from the Police Commissioner Wearing Apparel account to Legal Services account to utilize unused uniform funds for legal services. Transfer of $40,000 from the Police Commissioner Wearing Apparel account to Legal Services account to utilize unused uniform funds for legal services. Transfer of $15,000 from the Police Commissioner Computer Services account to Legal Services account to utilize unused computer service funds for legal services. Transfer of $15,000 from the Police Commissioner Office Services account to Legal Services account to utilize unused office service funds for legal services. Transfer of $10,000 from the Police Commissioner Professional Services account to Legal Services account to utilize unused professional services fund for legal services. Transfer of $10,000 from the Police Commissioner Office Equipment account to Legal Services account to utilize unused office equipment for legal services. Transfer of $250,000 from the Crime Control Strategies Information Technology Service account to the Fleet Capital Asset account to utilize unused IT service funds for replacement vehicles. Transfer of $250,000 from the Crime Control Strategies Information Technology Service account to utilize unused IT service account funds for replacement of vehicles. Transfer of $110,000 from the Dispatch Center Capital Asset account to the Fleet Capital Asset account to utilize unused Dispatch Center Capital Asset funds for legal services. Transfer of $14,000 from the Canine Operations Health and Safety Capital Account Fund to the Fleet Asset account to utilize unused Canine Operations Health and Safety Capital funds for vehicles. Be it resolved that the chief of police, in consultation with the general counsel and the president, can make minor edits, changes to the end of the year requests, including but not limited to grammatically corrections, budgetary account number corrections, and/or Scrivener's errors that do not materially change the end of the year results. Be it further resolved that the end of the year request attached here to and incorporated herein by reference, which is Exhibit A, we've got the clean copy, we received it this morning, is certified and approved and shall be timely filed for inclusion on the agenda at the next regularly scheduled Board of Estimations and appropriate meeting, in witness whereof the undersigned commissioners have executed this resolution effective the 29th day of April 2026.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That was good. Appreciate it. I know there's going to be some questions here, I'm sure, with regards to that. I think from the Graville Law Firm, I'm going to call on Jennifer, who's part of your team, if there's specifics, because she's worked directly with Nate and the budget department. If there's specifics, I just want to have Jennifer ready to answer questions. So the resolution was read. We'll move for a motion to approve that resolution. That's motioned by Mr. Ortega. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. McVeigh. Commissioner McVeigh, excuse me. For discussion, let's move to discussion. Go ahead, Mayor.
This resolution also refers to an Exhibit A. Is it the same Exhibit A as the previous resolution referring to an Exhibit A, or is this a second non-referenced Exhibit A that is also not labeled in the agenda as Exhibit A?
So the Exhibit A for this particular resolution is the documentation, I believe it's in a binder clip, Ashton, is that correct? That was laid out for you this morning. Apologies for the delay. Our finance staff, as well as our office, worked late into the night last night and early this morning to make sure we had those numbers for everyone to look at. But what I will tell you is that the resolution outlines the information that those forms, that the forms are supporting of. Those forms are required by E&A. And so we wanted to make sure that you had those to review, because what they do is they break everything down into either the actual budget transfer amount, which is why you see 60 different transfers, or 250,000, because that's as high as we can go per E&A rules.
Jennifer, when you say they, who are you referring to as they?
With regard to the requirements?
Yeah.
What E&A requires.
Thank you.
Of us to submit those requests.
And do we have a particular time restraint on when we can turn this request in?
Yes, we need to submit these for the May E&A meeting, and our requirement is to submit those, I think, 2 weeks in advance, Tim?
I think the deadline is Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Which would be before any other board meeting, that even if we had one next week. So we wanted to make sure we could get those done this week, because we have to have certain documentation to the comptroller before the end of the year, which the end of the fiscal year is June 30th. So this was our last opportunity to have our Board of Police Commissioners approve the transfers in order to make all of this work in a timely manner before the end of the fiscal year.
There's one more thing too. We got a correspondence from the comptroller memo to all city departments that essentially says May 22nd is the last date they'll accept, I think, any reviews of anything new. So we kind of had a couple of dates that we had to get on E&A. We had to look at what could we focus on by the end of the year with our own RFQ, RFP process and whatnot. So we apologize. Everybody has been working. The goal was to try to get this done last week. Tim and Linda have been great working their butts off, and Jennifer and Nate, thank you guys for all your hard work to try to get this identified and put together. We're a little bit short-staffed there, so, we apologize for it, but we wanted to make sure we had it as accurate as possible.
We understand that. I just want to make sure that, for the record, it's clear that we are under a time restraint, that we've been put under a time restraint, that we've worked very diligently in order to provide these numbers in the best timely manner. It might not be what looks to be the best at this point in time, but this team has worked very hard to try to get the necessary tools and resources within this budget to deliver for this department. That was the goal. That's what our strategies have been and continue to be, and that's the benefit behind what we are trying to accomplish here with this resolution today. Go ahead, Mayor. Did you have a question?
I believe I had the floor, yes. I had some, so I just want to be very clear that the resolution was sent out yesterday at 5 p.m. I asked for a summary. I got no response. We got the exhibit this morning before we're sitting here. So with absolutely an impossible timeline to do any due diligence. I've never heard, I appreciate you reading the resolution, Mr. Gravel. I don't think I've heard the term legal services used so frequently in one sitting. 31 transfers to legal services from various departments. I did notice, as I noted previously, that prior year encumbrances are just simply not allowed. Is there anybody here from the budget division for the police department? I realize that you said Dave Daniels was out on medical leave. Is there anybody else here from the budget division who's aware of the rules are related to the transfers?
We're not,
I mean, I just want to be very clear that
respectfully, Mayor,
under,
respectfully, you
it is
all-
accurate, prior year encumbrances can only be used for their specific purposes. And if a contract or an obligation for which funds are obligated expires or is no longer appropriated, or the funds, if the contract or obligation doesn't exist anymore, if it expires, those funds are no longer appropriated. So they do revert back to the general fund, and by charter and city ordinance, they are divided 50-50 into the capital fund and to the reserve fund. They're just not simply appropriated any longer. And my question is, has this been run by the comptroller? Have you had discussions with the comptroller about these particular requests?
What, if I can, let me intervene here. Are encumbered funds, Mayor, part of the Board of Police Commissioners and SLMPD's appropriation last year?
I don't understand the question.
Calculation of the appropriation, is it within the 22%?
I'm not going to answer that question. I don't fully understand what you're getting at, and I'm not going to answer.
That has to be the question that has
But
to
the
be
question-
answered before we
I
inquire
disagree.
as to the applicability of it, because if it's part of this board's appropriation in the prior year, which it appears for all intents and purposes to be part of the appropriation and been represented as that, this board has the autonomy to decide where their percentage of the appropriation goes to pay for.
This is not about the appropriate, these are about.
It's 100%.
Mr. Gravel,
It's
please stop
about the
talking over me. These are
appropriation.
about prior year encumbrances, okay? And my question is, have you had discussions with the comptroller or your budget director, Mr. Daniels, about these? Because I'm fairly certain that Mr. Daniels is aware of our charter and the way that appropriations work.
If it's part of what the city gave us, the board, as their percentage of their appropriation, this board can reappropriate that money any way they want.
Is
We're
this
gonna
part
have to
of
agree to
Mr.
disagree.
Gravel?
I'm going to cut. Jennifer, can you light into the question whether there was further discussion with the comptrollers? I think that's one of the questions that the mayor had.
We have been in constant communication with the comptroller's office to understand the balance of our accounts, which is why you're seeing all of these different transfers having to happen. So Mr. Sullivan certainly they get the daily report as far as the moving of those accounts. And so to make sure that information was updated, we have had discussions with the comptroller's office in that regard.
Well, I want to caution this board that the city does have laws around how to reappropriate funds. And unfortunately, prior year encumbrances, if that appropriation, if the contract or obligation expires, those funds are no longer appropriated for that purpose. And this is attempting to appropriate funds from prior year obligations. And so I would really encourage this board to do the due diligence necessary to ensure that what we're doing here follows the city processes as outlined by our charter and city ordinances. It's our determination that these don't follow that, and given the tight timelines, you know, one of the challenges I have is that 31 transfers here are for legal services, presumably to pay the Graville Law Firm and other things. However, let me finish.
Just let the mayor finish and I will comment on that.
We have some important issues here, including the firing range and other things. At the very least, we should be appropriating the funds in a way to serve the community as a priority, using funds that are from this year's appropriation, instead of using the funds that are very much at jeopardy, because we have out of these 5.3 million, 3.4 million are coming from prior year encumbrances, okay? And I'm being very clear that that's just, these are in jeopardy. I don't believe that there's a legal mechanism to reappropriate them in the way that this resolution is attempting to do. We've got 1.5 million going to the firing range, 1.3 going to the tasers, and we've got 31 transfers going to legal services, and the bulk of these requests are coming from prior year encumbrances. And again, we got the resolution last night at 5 p.m. and we just got what is considered Exhibit A here this morning.
Yeah.
And without, this is really no way to encumber $5 million. The lack of transparency and communication is unfortunate.
I'm going to, the transparency, the accusations of this body of being non-transparent is not going to be allowed to be articulated in this particular situation.
Mr. Saraceno, I'm allowed to articulate whatever I'd like.
Well,
and if I get a resolution at 5 p.m. prior to a 9 a.m. meeting, that is a lack of transparency.
It was
Period.
3:30.
No, that's not true. We got an email yesterday at 3:30, you're right. But this resolution came to us last night at 5 p.m.
This board has.
3:30 would not be would not be an adequate due diligence period.
This group has worked tirelessly, working under some very difficult situations, and there's been a lot of work done by the folks within the department to help, and our legal, to help get the information to us. It may not be the best timing-wise, but they're doing that, and we're under constrictions of timelines, so therefore it's unfortunately, as we build this house, we're living in it, and it's a little messy at times, but this is not a lack of transparency or a lack of accountability.
It is, and I'm not going to be told what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say, and what's not tolerated here at the Board of Police Commissioners,
I didn't say that you couldn't say it. I didn't say you could not say it. Jennifer, could you clarify a couple things with regards to legal services that was brought up? But is that legal services for, is there some information behind that legal service?
Sure, there's additional details.
So first off, as legal services, the city created the last budget, right? And I still go back to the fact that, we need to know the city's position with regards to what is referred to as encumbered funds. Are any of those funds, were they part of the percentage allocation? We need that answer, because if they were not part of the percentage allocation, then I don't know that I disagree with the mayor. But if they included any encumbered funds as part of our percentage allocation when they set the budget, this board has the ability to spend the money on whatever they want to. That's clear under state statute. So number one. Number two, legal services was not budgeted. As you all remember, we saved $1.6 million in the budgeted year by basically returning the city councilor's office and their paralegals and investigators from the police department back to the city councilor's office. We have a couple of things that are coming up, and so there was never a budgeted item for, so what the SLMPD was using to pay legal bills was coming out of funds directly working with the comptroller's office to pay it. We have used the Attorney General, and we have some responsibility to the Attorney General to pay for their services. The Attorney General is not free. The city knows that. We have a reconciliation at the end of the year. We've not paid them a dime, and we're going to work with them on what that amount is. But in good faith and working with the Attorney General, who's been representing on us on 80 cases, we thought we needed to transfer whatever is there less, so we can say, this is what we have to pay you for these services over since March of 2025, not just representing the board and police officers, but representing the city as well. We also have some outside counsel that we will be engaging with regards to building the insurance trust and looking at long-term plans to reduce liabilities of this department. That is part of those legal services as well. Some of it is to pay myself. I would also point out that we are going to now, after the approvals, move forward to engage 5 lawyers as hearing officers and Ms. Peterson as our, discipline prosecutor. And that we think there may be some additional costs because of the backlog that was left us by, prior to state control. We're gonna focus on where we're at now and then move backwards, and plus the fact that, to the extent the MOU is still applicable between everybody, we're focused on resolution of cases from March 21st to 2025 moving forward. So no, it's not all to pay me, not at all. It's to really work with the lawyers that have been helping us, and we need their help in order to resolve, some of the outstanding issues and some of the goals of the board.
With regards to the very important matter of the firing range, which we saw that was been a big thing within the community of the noise being handled there. That is a very important project that needs to get completed, correct? And that's at about $1.5 million cost, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
My request would be that we use funds that we know are available from this year's funds to appropriate those funds to the firing range and to the other necessary items here. Instead, this proposal would be to direct those risky, as you even pointed out, Mr. Gravel, you may agree with me.
I think we need that answer before we divert this and change it.
Okay, but if you don't have that answer and you've prepared a resolution to do things for which you're not even you're not sure has legal grounding, I have a problem with that, and I think we all should.
Don't speak for me. I 100% am sure that we can do this. I have no doubt.
You're
So is my
100%
team.
sure that we can do this?
Yeah. Yes.
But
And
again,
as you are 100% sure that we can't do it, I am sure we can, so.
You didn't,
Can we agree to disagree?
Mr. Gravel, this isn't about agreeing to disagree. This is about a legal procedure that you're asking this board and you're recommending this board to engage in that I don't think has legal standing and certainly hasn't been run by the comptroller. And the Board of E&A, our attorneys haven't been consulted on ensuring this is correct. Your budget director isn't here to weigh in on his long experience on how this is done, and neither is ours. And so, again, we didn't have the due diligence. We got this at 5 p.m. last night. We got the exhibit here this morning. And this is no way to try to transfer $5 million, particularly when the vast majority of these funds come from prior year encumbrances. And you've got the most sure funds going into legal services, and those at risk going into the most necessary things for our community.
Jennifer, do you have anything to add to that as far as the risk of the funds, what is considered to be risk?
I mean, I would just reiterate the conversation we've had. I understand the mayor believes those are at risk. We believe they're part of the allocated, budgeted funds that we have, and so we intend to request E&A's approval for them, and we'll move forward after that.
Jennifer, did you, the question that you have that you just reiterated about these percentages, has that question been posed to the city attorney or the budget director or anybody who could appropriately answer that question for you if that question remains?
I think those are just going to be legal opinions, so I think
Well,
everybody's
with all due respect, Mr. Gravel pointed out that he would like an answer to that.
Well, I've asked that.
Of who?
In prior discussions with the city councilor in a different context,
Okay.
I've asked this question about what is our appropriation, including the $4 million that was attempted to be transferred at E&A that was in a liability account. Is that part of our appropriations? And I've received the affirmative. I've also, reversed engineered it's not difficult to do what we are in litigation about what the percentage is, right? You did bring a lawsuit. Mr. Payne brought a lawsuit against the board. We've reverse engineered to see what that percentage would be. I am confident that these dollar amounts were included as part of the allocated percentage of city revenue when the city set up the budget for 25-26. And because it's within our percentage, it is within this board's authority, an independent statutory authority, to decide how that money is spent. They get the allocation, and then this board has a decision-making authority. There is nothing in Chapter 84 or any of the statutes that the city has the ability to pull any strings on money that is part of the allocation. That's the whole purpose of this body, is to determine how they want to spend that allocation.
You're confident that prior year encumbrances are included in that, Mr. Gravel?
That is my understanding, yes.
You're confident
In the
that prior
calculations.
year encumbrances are included in this year's budget allocation?
The way the city has interpreted it, yes, that is included in the 22%.
What gives you that confidence, Mr. Gravel?
Well, those are conversations I've had previously in the 8 months we were talking about the MOU, and a lot of these issues were talked about.
Who were the conversations with, Mr. Gravel?
Mr. Garvin and Jeremiah Morgan and Kelly King at various points.
Jeremiah from the Attorney General's office is
Correct.
familiar with our budget process here in the city?
We have gotten into some pretty big details as we were negotiating the MOU.
And so you're confident because of conversations with Mr. Garvin and Jeremiah of the Attorney General's office that prior year encumbrances are included in this year's budget?
Well, not just based on that, based on our own calculations and math.
Fascinating.
Is there any further discussion regarding, does any other commissioners have questions or comments regarding this resolution? Do you have anything to add, Jennifer? Seeing none, we have a motion by Commissioner Ortega, second by Commissioner McVeigh, correct? And we're going to move, Mr. Gravel, to move this to a roll call vote, please.
Sure. Mayor Spencer?
No.
Commissioner Jenkins Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner McVeigh?
Aye.
President Saraceno?
Aye.
Commissioner Ortega?
Aye.
Motion carries. Very good. Okay, we'll move to our next agenda item, which is that of the chief's report. Chief Tracy, good morning. Thank you for being here, and welcome.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Chief.
So as I always start off, SLMPD /stats.org, some of the numbers that I'm talking about, everybody can see about transparency with the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. Please go to that. You can see these numbers by citywide. You can see them by area, patrol areas. You can see it by the 6 districts, and you can see it by the 88 neighborhoods that we break it out in. But I'd like to always go back to where we were under the strategies and the work that the men and women of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department and the professional staff that support us in the job that we're doing to make sure that people understand where we've come since 2022. We're down 41% in citywide in crime. That has a lot to do with the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. I understand there's people that support what we do in other places, but that 41% is because of the hard work of the men and women of this police department and the civilian staff that support us. I want to make sure that, because there are some public officials out there that say it's only because of other people that are getting this work done, not the police department. So I want to go on record to say, yes, it is the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department's getting it done. It's my 4th city, and cities do not get turned around till you get yourself back up to budgeted strength and then those support units can help us, and then the city takes off. We got to get back up to there. 41% down in citywide crime since 2022, and that's with officers being reduced in this city. 61% downtown. That's the big area that we talk about all the time. 61%. Downtown West, 50%. Midtown, 48%. Central West End, 47% year to date. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens because a lot of work. It also happens with collaboration with other city agencies. But let's not forget the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department when it comes to those numbers. And we're going to get there. I mean, just this week, we get the robotics that are in. It's the largest in the world. Largest in the world international robotics convention. And it's going to be ending on Thursday. And seeing people down, we almost have 50,000 people here, 25,000 rooms sold, and that's not counting each day that they're there to bring business back here. We got the Cardinals that played this weekend with St. Louis Soccer Club. We, of course, the Blues season ended. Just gave opening remarks. 900 people came from the International Association of Arson Investigators in Union Station, coming from all over the world. We're in our city. They're getting to see the good things. On Friday, I spoke before the Commercial Real Estate Association with the prosecuting attorney from St. Louis County, Melissa Price. 160 people, we talked about the positivity that things are going on and the recognition of perception over reality and what's happening with our city overall and what's happening downtown. And they actually recognize the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department being part of that. Just yesterday was a speaker series that I attended with the having the Eastern District of Missouri U.S. Attorney, the Western District, Tom Albert's Western District U.S. Attorney, Matt Price, St. Louis County Prosecutor, Melissa Price, and the Circuit Attorney, Gabe Gore. Was very well received to see that type of connection. The one that was missing was Catherine Hanaway from the Attorney General's office. But there's a lot of things going in the right direction of where this city, this region, and this state is going. And a lot of things that were said in that meeting, they were thanking the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department and their officers and their civilian staff for the work that they do, and they say they're seeing it. Although they're understaffed, they're seeing things. I just got done speaking to Mr. Dean from the convention center, and about sending pictures and everything that the men and women have been doing, especially downtown, even though we're short-staffed. I've been speaking to people about what's happening on 9th and Olive and what's going downtown, even considering the mental health issues, the homeless issues, and in some of the things that are going on, some of the narcotic issues. We've been working hand in hand. We've been working with the city. We've been working with representation of the city to try to address the issues that people are asking us to address where there's tourism, there's a tax base, there's businesses that are asking about it, and there's a lot of things of where we're going to move this forward. We're going to be a big part of it, and I'll be meeting certainly as we start getting the entertainment district together, and some of the plans that I'll bring before the board. I think some of the ideas that we can do, some of the things with some infusion of money, and how we can be a big part of that. The last thing that I'd really like to talk about is the issue, and the issue is how do we get more police officers into this profession? We've talked about raises, we've talked about compensation to be competitive, but also we have to take a look at that now that we've come away from some of the things that, Mayor, you've talked about with civil service, and also things that were happening with the city, the hiring processes that I think we're not, those things, those roadblocks, and I've worked with you when you were Director of Personnel, Commissioner Sonia Jenkins Gray, and we tried to maneuver some of those things within the rules to try to hire people to keep up with attrition. So what we're doing is now is we're pulling people over with our own director, Sarah Koziaki, is now our director, and we're not encumbered or by some of the rules that were in place, that now we can start changing some of our hiring processes to be efficient in this day and age when we don't have long lists of people waiting to come into the police departments like we used to do. But we got to be competitive with other departments. They can comply to a lot of other police departments, and a lot of other police departments are making a heck of a lot more money than us starting pay. But we're going to do a fast-track testing blitz on May 6th. And within that, if you read that, you go to that QR code, you know, sometimes it takes months of tests. We're going to try to do it all in one day. There's a physical test, an aptitude test, an oral interview, and we use the same standards. We're not going to water that down. and this is going to be fast-tracked at the police academy. So we have reporters right now going through the physical test at the academy to promote this on May 6th. And we're also advertising social media across multiple states at military bases for people that are coming out of the military and all aspects of it doesn't just have to be military, but we need a diverse group coming into this police department to continue this noble profession and get ourselves back up to our budgeted strength that we can build off what we're doing now. Build off of it, because we have a chance with a lot of momentum that was really talked about by the prosecuting attorneys yesterday, and how important the police department is in keeping our city safe, keeping our region safe, and working with all our other partners to really take advantage of this. I think we have that chance. I don't want to miss out on it. That's one of the reasons I came to St. Louis, knowing it can go in the right direction. I see it, and I hope we don't miss that opportunity. So I know all the work that's being done here, it's being done with the city. We can get there. We can get there because I've done it in other cities. We just got to make sure we're doing it right. We make those right decisions. So with that, I'll open up to any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for our Chief? Any other announcements, Chief?
I have a comment for you, Chief, more of a comment. And that is, I want to commend you and Director Koziaki for taking a proactive, a best practice approach to trying to recruit officers into the force. The things that you've discussed are best practices. These are things that should streamline the process and give us the flexibility that we need to be able to hire faster, qualified candidates, but faster. So I really commend the both of you, and I'm excited about the Blitz.
So am I, and thank you very much for your support in doing that, Commissioner. I also don't want to leave out, everybody's been a big part of it. Everybody's jumped on board, including Police Officers Association, Ethical Side Policing, and I don't want to leave Mitch McCoy out of that, because the Communications Director, one of the most important things in any organization, internally and externally, is communications, and Mitch McCoy has been doing a heck of a job tying these things together to make sure we get that message out. So thank you to Mitch, thank you to the Police Officers Association, thank you to Sarah Koziaki, and thank you to you, ma'am, and thank you to the board to give us the ability to do some things and the funding to get this done.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner, for bringing that to our attention. Okay, we'll now open the floor for any board members that have any announcements. Any announcements by any of the board members?
I have E&A, or excuse me, I have East-West Gateway. I'll be unable to attend. It started at 10 a.m. There's obviously an overlap here, so with regards to executive session, this is not something I can accommodate today.
Thank you, Mayor. Any further announcements?
I'll also just say that the city, when it comes to issues like these transfers here, we are available to answer direct questions. It's not our intention to come before a board meeting like this and point out that there's not a legal path here. We would much rather be in a position to share this information prior to these public settings, and we're available, to work through these things. It's just extremely unfortunate to get this information at the last minute, and to not be able to help triage some of these very real concerns. Obviously, this is not ideal for anyone, most importantly the public, who really does need to have the firing range addressed and some of the other funding that were considered here today to actually be done in the right way.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other board members? Board Attorney, Mr. Gavil, do you have any announcements?
I do not.
Do you not?
Oh, May is, what's the month of May, Mitch? Police?
SLMPD.
Law Enforcement Appreciation Month, so Mitch has reminded me a couple of times, so May is the time to thank SLMPD.
Yes, thank you. Mitch, do you mind talking about an event we have Friday? Would you mind? Or would that be the chief? I'm sorry. I know he's communication chief.
What SLMPD? So let us know what we're supposed to do.
So I know the Police Board of Commissioners and show their appreciation to the police department has put together one SLMPD Day as far as going to the district, the areas, South, Central, and North Patrol areas, and they're going to be cooking food, and then for the overnight staff, they're going to have food catered in, and make sure that we can get together and they can show their appreciation for all the work that both the uniform and civilian staff that have done. So to be there, it's this Friday, the notice has gone out to everyone internally and especially to the board, and thank you very much for putting that together. It means a lot to know who their governance is and have that conversation they can have in a more of an informal setting than at one of these settings, and that usually goes a long way. A lot of the work gets done. You can hear personally, and that human touch means a lot to them. And so I thank you, and that'll be May 1st, and you've been putting this together, and I know that all the board members are picking an area to go, and it's your choice, but let's make sure we spread it out to North Central and South patrol areas. And for everyone in the department, if you do not work in one of those areas, you're welcome to pick the one of your choosing to go there, because we just couldn't do it in every single area that we work in, so we kind of centralized it just to the patrol areas. So appreciate it. Thank you again. Any questions on that?
Thanks, Chief.
And I know a lot of that is coming with donations and some of your own funds as well. So I thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Chief. Transition Director, Mr. Whitehurst, do you have any?
We continue to work through the buildings. Communications have come up on what to do regionally with the city on kind of next steps for the towers and things of that nature. But we'll have probably a further update in the coming month or two.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thanks, President.
Or Transition Director. Okay, if there's no further announcements, I'll move to our next agenda item, is a vote to enter into executive session. A motion to do so?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
We gotta make sure we get it. Motion to enter executive session for RSMO 610-0211, 610-0212, and 610-0213.
Thank you. So there's a motion by Commissioner,
Second.
second by Commissioner Jenkins Gray. Can you take a roll call vote? Commissioner Rebo?
Sorry. All my readings out of me. Commissioner Ortega? Aye. Mayor Spencer?
Aye.
Commissioner Jenkins Gray?
Aye.
Commissioner McVeigh?
Aye.
Commissioner Brown?
Aye.
Commissioner Saraceno?
Aye. Motion to executive session for a purpose of RSMO 610-0211, 610-0212, and 610-0213 passes unanimously.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you all for attending. Appreciate it.